So we're going to record. We're back with our video land. We just got done watching some films. Filmages. All right. Y'all ready?
Ready.
3.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to this episode as we watched
3
fan films because we decided that they were kind of short enough, and why not? So we're going to talk about them in the order that we watched them. We're going to start with Star Wars Dresca. So this one was interesting. I'm not going to give away too much, but general plot line is that Luke saved somebody that probably was a dark side person.
Yes.
After, I'm assuming it's the Return of the Jedi, right? The second Death Star?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's the assumption I'm making.
Because you got shots of it at the beginning, and it's interspersed with black and static noise.
What do you guys think of this fan film? It was only 7 minutes long. Well, all three of these were very short fan films we watched. We decided to keep them short. The plot line was okay. Huge plot holes. I'm sorry. It's the massive plot holes, and there's just no way around them. And everything that went on in the fan film was based around those plot holes, so it kind of made it a little difficult for me.
Yeah, it was pretty much Alice waking up in Raccoon City.
This one I got confused, and it was towards the middle. She started using force lightning and such, but I thought that you can't use force powers through hands that are robotic because it lost its connection to the force.
Because they had built-in tasers.
Yes, they built tasers in.
And for a second, when she's doing it, I thought for a second I saw two Metal's arms, she just lost both her arms. Well, and that would make a little sense. And
part of me wondered about that. The other part of me wondered about okay,
why does she have an eye that looks like Cable?
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Part of me is sitting here going, okay, only top-level Sith are supposed to be able to use Force lightning. Thus, only Palpatine be able to use it. And Vader, from my understanding, he could use it, but sparingly. He couldn't use it as much as Palpatine could.
He could launch it in balls, is what I read from comic books that he... Yes. He could condense it into balls called Force Kinetite, and it was a lightning ball, and he could literally zap the person to death.
So I'll agree. The Force lightning thing threw me off a little bit. The fact that she used it. The makeup was kind of disconcerting for me throughout the entire thing as I'm watching it. Yeah. I don't know if you guys caught it, but the metal eye that she had on moved through several shots.
No, I didn't know. It was here, and then it was over towards her.
Yeah,
nose more, and then it was
when she was laying down, it was farther up on her skull. When she stands up, it's where it should be, probably centered, right? And then later on, when she's out in the forest, let me find one of those shots really quick. Her eyeball, and it is covered up, but it has slowly drifted down her face, somebody didn't quite know
seal it correctly
what to do there. And it's pretty obvious that all they used was a makeup putty, right? They didn't even try to conceal that at all. At least to me, it didn't look like it.
Well, a little bit of burn texture, but
okay. She's a Wicked Witch of the West, and she got a bucket of water thrown at her.
I'm melted!
Did you all feel like she felt very Terminator-esque? I'm sorry, it was just
of course.
It was somebody got inspired by the Terminator and said, I should throw that into a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Because we're past the due date for Terminator.
And
where's Luke?
The idea did anyone know Vader's real name? But at the beginning, she's like, oh, good, Skywalker survived. And then they say Luke, and she's like, oh, not the Skywalker I was thinking
Because remember, even Leia didn't know that Vader was a Skywalker.
So that whole thing is what?
How about the nurses in the room?
Looks like Virginia Madsen. I could not...
you're right. It was kind of disconcerting how much she looked like Virginia Madsen.
The medical symbol they're wearing is from the Clone War era.
And then, the whole thing with her getting choked, then not being choked, and setting the gun down when she had the drop on her. She just watched this person blast friends of hers with lightning and just stood there with a gun on her rather than shooting the person.
Right.
It's one of these things where they're trying to be dramatic, but they're really not thinking about how things would happen in reality. They're not putting... it's they're not thinking about the motivations. If you saw your friends being shocked by someone with force lightning and you picked up a gun, would you stand there aiming it at them and wait for them to notice you?
Yeah.
Or would you just shoot them? It's stop shooting my friends with lightning.
Right.
Please, I want to shoot you. So, just stuff that happens. It doesn't have a good flow to it, and the idea at the end that she comes across Vader's helmet was interesting and neat little moment, but I guess I get the idea of a bad person was rescued from the Death Star by Luke, and everyone mistook her for a rebel, but she's not. But where'd they find her? Did she crash a TIE fighter into one of their ships? And if she did, then they think they'd know she was a bad person. It's weird. I don't quite get the entire thing.
Luke saved her and brought her to him.
Right. I got that part, but at the beginning they're showing TIE fighters flying around, and it almost implies that she's in one, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't think she is, because I think she's on the Death Star, because that's where Luke grabbed her from, so it's confusing.
And I guess the part that I'm a little disconcerted at is that it was an award-winning fan film. I'm kind of like, if this wins an award, what doesn't win an award? Like,
what was the award? That's what I want to know. She won.
I don't know. It's just listed off
go down to the description. Blah blah blah. When Dreska, and here's the thing. When Dreska, an Imperial pilot, is rescued by rebels, so she was on a TIE fighter, but somehow Luke rescued her off the Death Star, even though she was out battling. Is rescued by rebels. Oh, she wasn't rescued by Luke. But at the end,
she told her it was by Luke.
Yeah, and at the end she says, "Luke saved me instead of you." I don't get that. She must choose between her loyalty to the Empire and the kindness of strangers she once thought as monsters. So it's all over the place in terms of.
And the awards are New York City Indie Film Awards,
the LA Shorts Awards,
Mind Film Festival, Los Angeles,
and Albuquerque,
International Independent Film Awards. They're all mostly about the picture quality and the cinematography.
The last one's the best, though. Cryptic Award, because the whole episode's pretty cryptic, and you don't quite get what's going on.
I think these are awards that were awarded by fans.
Probably.
I'll give you that, Gary, and I also think, as Austin said, I think it's about the cinematography more than anything else. And it had some, artistic shots. It had some good artistic shots.
That were clean, that were a little bit more...
But it definitely was lacking in storyline.
The story time. It was very hard to follow. If
you go back down and scroll through them, I didn't see anyone that was mentioning makeup or script, unless I missed it.
No, and it wasn't awful. It's worth your 7 minutes, but at the same time, I'm not sure it's the best fan film we've ever seen.
But for 7 minutes, it's not the best.
I get what they're going for, and the problem with it is they're trying to make her as an emperor's hand.
Yeah, and
right.
Would it have been better if it was just a TIE pilot who they mistook for a rebel? She escapes, and at the end finds the helmet, and she's all upset because this used to be her leader who's dead, and she just, instead of master, just what do I do now? She's a TIE pilot trapped on the planet.
Yeah,
right.
And she a bunch of rebels. That might have been far more interesting than trying to give her all this extra power and make her super powerful.
I think somebody wanted to use some special effects.
Yeah.
And that was another one of the awards I saw down there was special effects.
So what do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Jessica? Would you see it or not see it?
It's 7 minutes. Go ahead and watch it, but it's not great.
So thumbs up?
Thumbs middle.
Thumbs middle, Austin?
Leaning up, but...
I'm middle too. I'm actually middle to down.
I'm middle to down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm middle to up because of the way it looks.
Straight across.
Gary's just like...
Gary's always straight across. Okay. The next film...
That's what she said.
Yep, that's right.
to say that.
So the next film we watched was called The Grey Jedi. It's a B Arts production, not an A Arts production.
Not a C Arts production.
Here's a tip for all you watchers. Keep your hands on the pause button. You're going to need it to get through the book that happens at the beginning.
Right. My first complaint right off the bat. First off...
It has subtitles.
The subtitles need subtitles. That's the sad part. The beginning of the film, okay, I got it. So there's a couple complaints I have about the beginning of the film. First off, the font they used is way too stinking small.
It's too much of an angle.
Right. Then the angle of the font is actually down too far. They should have shifted the letters up slightly. And scroll slower, damn it.
And simplify all your description. You've got so much. They wanted to tell an entire backstory here,
right? And
they should have kept it much simpler.
And it was funny because we read through the whole thing, and Eric had within 3 seconds went, "Oh, this guy went here, did this, and now we're here."
There was a Jedi who fought with the rebellion, became more of a warrior than a Jedi. His sister was kidnapped, and now he's on a quest for revenge.
That's all you need right there. Like if we would have just started with that,
a quest to, but you can't even say revenge because that wouldn't make him a Grey Jedi.
Right.
So it's like.
And then after the first minute of reading these texts,
Right, so you have a good minute.
Which are loaded with grammatical errors.
The first moment of actual Star Wars appears at like the 1 minute 23 second mark.
Which is
That's
sad.
how much you've got to get through at the beginning of writing. And
By the way, if you are an English teacher, there are major grammatical errors. And there's a huge run-on sentence that I was
4
like,
run-on sentences, Republic's not capitalized.
Yeah.
Whoever created this, you need to go back and review your editing skills.
So,
but then the first shot is
the
cool.
first shot's kind of cool. I like the ship.
is neat. The angle's good.
Yeah.
Camera movement's good.
And we move towards this planet. I was like, that's an interesting looking planet. I was kind
It
of...
feels like when I first watched episode 2 with Obi-Wan leaving this hyperspace.
Yeah.
thing. That's what this reminded me as.
It's got a good opening feeling.
It's got a good Star Wars feel at the beginning. I was like very hopeful, going, "Hey, now this might, I'm willing to go through some really annoying beginning opening crawl in order to put up with."
But then there's a confusing jump cut because obviously budget limitations. You can't show the ship landing. You immediately jump to inside a building where we spend a good 10 seconds on a ceiling and some water dripping, and you can start hearing voices. So obviously, budget constraints means they can't show exteriors, and they had this cool interior to film at. So
You need some jazz music when he's walking down the road.
Elevator music.
But warning, this is a fan film that is, what's the runtime again?
Total is like 7 minutes.
7 minutes and 1 second with almost a minute and a half of writing at the beginning. So now we're down to a 5.5 minute fan film with credits at the end. So now maybe we're down to like 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
And a minute of him walking.
And it's really just a little philosophical study.
There's 3 minutes of them singing "Ease on Down the Road." So I mean, like that's.
I wish they had that in there, but
I think you get it one going, "Ease on down the road."
Now they tell an interesting story. I mean, they do give a little bit. They do a flashback to him with his sister at happier times.
Right.
They do a little bit of that. I mean, with not having a lot of time, they show a flashback to him fighting Sith in a decent fight. I mean, not great choreography. They obviously did a lot in the editing. But there's a couple neat shots. There's one where he slices someone in the stomach, and you see the sparks kind of fly off in the wind to the side.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
Was it a shock to you guys at all that he was a temple guardian? I mean, like I didn't get that right at first
When I started
until they panned up and then showed the mask. And I was like, oh,
I was gonna say,
you didn't get that out of the book?
text said that.
oh, well then I guess I'm just.
That was in chapter 4, paragraph 20,
that's
subsection 3.
But the problem I got with the whole temple guard outfit and everything, the mask is all wrong.
Yeah.
It's sliced open.
It's not even finished.
Right, it's not finished. What? Forget the fact that it's sliced open for a minute. It's not finished, actually.
It looks like the one Kanan used in Rebels, but I might be wrong.
But
And again, I'm not really looking at the eye stuff in that costume.
I refused the order. You refused.
Right, like see that left side? That should all be white and all that. That shows
The war broke me.
unless it got torn open.
No, I'm saying that was during fighting. I assume that was a damage thing because he's injured on his face under it. So it's like, I think that...
But even the flashback.
Rage.
There should have been hole there, then we see it get cut. That's
yeah, that would have been nice to show.
Vengeance.
I also think that was an interesting choice to use actual light-up lightsabers rather than rotoscoping because it does add a slight air of cheesiness to the walking up neon lightsabers.
Not only that, but I'm sorry, there's actually a moment where he's fighting Sub-Zero. Sorry. He actually is.
Yeah.
Finish him. Right there. It's either Scorpion or Sub-Zero. I can't figure out which one.
I'm thinking Reptile.
Get over here! Right? Like, that's what I was waiting for.
And the Sith are
I guess.
Like that. See that shot right there with the trailing sparks
Right.
off his stomach? I thought that was awesome.
It's like somebody wanted to do this part, which was really cool, which was the lightsaber battle with the Sith and all that. And it seems to take a big chunk of the film, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a good minute.
it's a good minute to a minute and a half of fighting. I mean, it's not bad. It's just the other parts that are on the outside of it really, I don't feel like completely necessary. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that one too.
There was a movie he did where he had a lightsaber and he slammed it on the ground. I wanted to see a stab there.
So
I don't know. I'm just
But you can see the scar down his face where
Yeah.
it's bloody in the flashback shot. So you get the sense that mask was cut open at some point.
now
But you
I
don't see it.
know.
Right, and it would have been cool to actually see it
It would have been
happen.
fun to see him if he did this
And now
and then that.
Stings feel the gold.
Now we're feeling a scene kind of like
Here's something. If you build it, they will come.
I I was actually thinking of like Wizard of Oz when the field of poppies.
No, all I'm thinking of is the meadow picnic from episode 2 with the weird animals that I cannot describe.
So this is obviously the sister. Am I?
Yeah, he's remembering back to when he was hanging out with his little sister because she hands him the necklace as a little bracelet.
Whatever it was.
Bedazzle.
So do you think this is a good representation of great Jedi? No.
I don't think so at all.
I didn't either.
If you're a Jedi, you are ripped from your family at a very young age, so you would not remember your siblings.
But here's the thing. Isn't Luke basically in The Last Jedi a gray Jedi for most of it?
By that point, I would assume because he's not embracing the Jedi side anymore, and he definitely is not embracing the dark side.
He's talking about
So
how
he goes in the
everything's
middle.
needed.
Right.
He's describing how all of it
How balance
matters.
is important.
Yeah.
Right.
So for most of that movie, he's a gray Jedi until he does his projection thing.
Right.
And gets a little
And prior
involved.
to when he was training the new era of Jedis and then realized that.
And this is where I'm saying, like, this film doesn't seem to represent a gray Jedi to me.
No, because he seems to be a bit too focused on revenge.
Which is a Sith thing. So to
Great
me,
Jedi is of nothing.
maybe he's more like dark gray.
Yeah. He's more like charcoal. He's a charcoal Jedi.
Charcoal gray, like light gray, and I was thinking he'd be light gray.
So what's a pink Jedi?
He could be like an athletic heather Jedi, and that's more on the light side.
Gary, what do you think? Did it represent a gray Jedi well or no?
No.
And
What could they have done to fix that?
Not show the flashback and of the actual battle with the Sith and stuff.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs down on this one?
Down.
I actually would say down too.
I'm going to be middle again because I like the cinematography. I like a couple of the shots they did with the lightsaber fight, even though it's like we said. But it suffers from the same problem as the first one. A, they want to convey something super dramatic and important when it's not within their storytelling abilities. This one's filmed even better than the first one.
I agree.
It's got
As far as cinematography.
It's got some beautiful cinematography. But again, it's kind of all over the place in terms of story. You're just lost. You're kind of guessing at what's happening. It's like short story authors. There's a real art to telling a short story where you give enough information that people just get everything you're trying to tell them and understand what came before and what might come after, even though you're just telling them a snippet.
Right.
But these people are not great at short storytelling when they're doing these snippet fan films.
Right.
And it's hard. It's really not conveying
It's
it.
something very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with a short film is you have to get to the point. You can't like bounce around it. You can't even like.
And these guys seem to like to linger on their dramatic moments or their slow looks
They're
or their
trying to-
Sorry, slow motion in a 7-minute film, not a good idea.
I was gonna say, they're trying to do what you would do in a full-length film in a short film, like aesthetically wise.
Okay, so the last fan film we decided to review tonight is a 3-minute fan film called Legion, the Stormtrooper Chronicles, which...
But I think it even said part 1.
Did it say part? Yeah, it
so
did say
there's
part 1
more
Scarif.
parts to it. It probably talks about different stormtroopers in different locations.
Yeah, I have not found the rest. I'll have to kind of search around. I'm not sure if there are a rest yet.
Right.
So, this one was only 3 minutes.
This was only published the day before Star Wars Day this year. So
Right, so it's pretty new. I thought it was interesting they chose Scarif as their place of reference. I thought it was kind of cool they had shore troopers. And, it's not often you see fan They tried to represent the rebels the best they could.
It kind of looks like the rebels from Rogue One that were very wintergreen.
to give you an idea, if you pause it, and you don't even have to pause it, it's very clear. This entire thing, their set dressing is totes.
Yeah.
It's like, let's get everything. And floor phones. And the floor phones. What are you doing?
Stormtrooper.
You had a decent setting. You could have set dressed differently.
And the blocking is a little bad.
It's probably the most atrocious blocking I've seen.
Actually, my favorite part is the fact that the totes still have their labels on them. Look, that one still could be scanned at Lowe's right now. So
Go back 2 clicks. There was one like where he's standing.
Oh, they
There's 2 totes that have labels, but they're facing the wrong way.
They also
Right.
put some symbols symbols on some of them.
Which I'm okay putting the Imperial symbol on some of them, but when you've still got the barcode we bought this at Lowe's barcode on
It
it.
was the beginning of this, and I just thought, I can't believe this battle is happening on freshman move-in day.
Oh, God. Come on, these are gonk droids that aren't activated.
Right, yeah, unactivated gonk
Oh, that's
droids.
true, yeah.
They were purchased at Agway. Because Agway wants more.
I saw another logo now.
So, I even thought, like, it was pretty cool that they put in, like, in the background, the ships flying around. I mean, like, there were some little detail things they thought through that was, like, it was cool. The blocking thing was kind of just, that was the biggest awkward moment.
Look at this for a second.
They're literally standing over top of people that are 2 feet from them shooting at them.
Yeah.
Like, worse than rebels. Like, I can't believe we're actually saying that.
Yeah.
But,
I just realized this. If you go back, there are shots where there's stormtroopers just laying on the floor foam mats. I think that what he was trying to do. All right, you guys are gonna die here. This floor foam pad is you guys. You're gonna die over here. Like he was trying to block out where people are gonna die so that they could walk around.
or they wanted them to fall on the floor foam so they didn't
damage
them. So, I did think there was one good funny moment where they're talking to the commander and they turn around and they just shoot the one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple moments in this where it's like, okay, that's a little bit funny. That's,
Now, I like the idea. The idea behind this is when you're a stormtrooper, you're a risk, obeys orders, you're no one, and you can tell this guy reacts. So what happens in it is a higher command officer comes up and says, "I've been ordered to leave." And it's clear the stormtrooper takes one look and goes, "You're totally BS. You're scared.
I am facing
You want an escort to
a
your ship."
relentless force that overwhelms the enemy.
But because it's commanding officer, has to obey the order. So there's a lot of storytelling packed into that one little moment, which is kind of cool.
And what's really weird is he's conveying this and he has a damn helmet on.
Yeah, I
seriously, like, that surprised me, and I was like, wait a minute, he's got a helmet on. That's hard to pull off.
My favorite character out of all these is this lead stormtrooper. The narration and stuff. I liked him out of all these movies.
Way.
If you go back to the
Without
second
hesitation.
you can just pass, but there was the moment where he's like walking up and he's
I never accept defeat.
the officer can't hit a broadside.
Oh yeah, he's scared.
Yeah.
The guy, it's more of that. He's frightened, and when you're frightened, you can't react well and all.
So then he just
Well,
goes,
that's that humor part again.
Yeah,
I thought
like-
they did a good job
But
with that.
but the stormtrooper who's stoic and used to battle, one shot takes him out. So the stormtrooper gets shot, and what do? Do they pick him up and carry him to the ship? And no, they leave him behind because the next thing we see is him waking up and looking as the
I
officer.
thought the best shot of the whole film was him reaching out towards the Imperial shuttle, which, by the way, whoever composited that Imperial shuttle, kudos, because
Pretty good
that's pretty
job.
dang good.
The
I mean,
angle's it's a little off,
but I mean,
it takes
like,
off, but it's not bad.
It's rendered well enough that it just just enough.
if you know Star Wars, I mean, that's definitely an Imperial shuttle. You don't need to second guess that. You know what I mean?
And then the nice thing about the rest of the shot, if you hit play on it, is that as it's going up, we see the shot from the Death Star coming.
Right,
And,
right.
The ending of Scarif.
Right, the ending of Scarif and the whole,
This shot was kind of cool too, where he's getting up and grabbing his rifle.
It died on the battlefield.
Whoever filmed this was very much
As I
a
have
good idea of
achieved
what he wanted to do
for the
filming.
Empire.
It's a matter
Shot
of-
placements were
shot
important.
placement and the
I like how all the guys are just standing there. They're like, well, this is it. We're going to die now. And they're accepting the fate as a bunch of soldiers. And so it told an interesting little story. And I would have had much higher rating for this if they had just done their shooting and their battle sequence better.
if they would have stretched that. They had that
I'll
whole
go one step
area.
better. Just move the totes and put cardboard boxes painted to look like something else. Do you know what I mean? Like, the totes were just a little too obvious to me. Like, as set dressing, it was too obvious. It's like they took the tote that they pulled the stormtrooper armor out of and just threw them in this place.
Which is probably
what they
all
did.
those totes probably brought armor in them.
It's just a shame that they did it that way, and it could have. I mean, like, as far as like the rest of the film had such high quality, and then you had that, and you're like, it just detracts from it a little bit, enough that you're kind of like, man, like, come on, it's like a cheap cop out, like.
It was unfortunate that was the situation because I really liked the shot composition over the and the story over the blocking, and versus some of the other films, it's like.
Well, this has got the best story in it. The other two
all of them,
were,
yes.
they were narratively very hard to follow and, a little jumbled and, like we said,
Hard to read.
Some have, plot holes. Some were hard to read. But this one told a very clear, concise story that you got without even seeing the guy's face.
Right.
They did a pretty good job with that.
And this is kind of like I want to watch this again and then kind of think about how to do one for Amanda.
Well,
maybe.
it's 3 minutes, and I thought it was pretty concise, at least in the 3 minutes that it was.
It knew what it wanted to talk about. It didn't try and do this big dramatic beginning. It didn't say Stormtrooper this with a family back here, and try and tell us all this backstory. No, it just focused in on the idea it wanted to.
Just jumped in. I am a Stormtrooper, and I'm like, okay, we're already.
And I think that's what you have to do when you're telling a short story.
Right.
What is the idea you're trying to convey? And you know what the problem is with the first two? The first two wanted to tell too much story in their short story.
Absolutely.
And this guy just said, no, I have this idea. What's it like to be a soldier?
Right.
When your higher-ups are chickens and you do the job. And I'm going to tell that, and they're going to leave them behind anyway.
This reminded me a lot of that IMPS that we watched a year or so ago.
IMPS?
So, let's rate this one. Gary, thumbs up or thumbs down on this
Thumbs
one?
up.
Awesome. What do you think?
Thumbs up. I like the short concept.
Apart from the blocking, thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm actually a thumbs up too. Odd that the shortest one is the one where like you should go see that.
And the one with, honest to God, the worst choreography. Of the three.
See, that's the thing, but I'm willing to put up with bad choreography if you give me a good story or something that's interesting to look at and listen to.
If you give me a moderately bad story and good choreography, it doesn't save it.
No. For goodness sake, stop making me read.
Or if you're going to make me read, put some narration in there so I can follow along.
So that's what we thought about Star Wars Jessica, The Grey Jedi, A Star Wars Story, and Legion, The Stormtrooper Chronicles. We'd love to hear what you have to say about those Star Wars fan films. Listen, folks, I get it. Everybody thinks we're bagging on these films. We're not bagging on them at all. We're just giving them a nice rating. That's why we only do a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing. Like, would we suggest it to somebody else? I'm not saying it's easy to do a fan film.
No.
I'm not the first judge of that at all.
Take it from somebody who tried doing one. It's hard.
It's not easy to do, but what I do look at is like
it's honest critique.
Right, honest critiquing.
We're not bagging on the people doing it at all.
No.
We're just, the end result is all we can judge.
Anybody that does a fan film, I'm like, I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. So, for those who are part of the cast and crew of these films, I hope you understand that's the way we're looking at this. This is not us, this is us just kind of critiquing the overall look, and things that we like to see in our fan films. So, we'd love to hear what you have to say. Go take a look at those fan films. You can email us at GalaxyCast@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook or Twitter or find us on YouTube and all those places that you go to. As we like to always stay here. We do like to do that, but as we like to say here in the Star Production Studios, may the Force be with those who listen.
To Shatterpoints.
And Jedi Killer Dillian.
I want my damn books back!
Okay, Video Land, that's enough from us. We'll see you later.